Welcome back to the garage here at Basin Motorsports. Ladies and gentlemen, you made it. Today is the last day of 2021. In a few hours, you should be celebrating with a cold or a hot beverage. We're kicking off 2022. Now I'll say 2021 has turned out to be as weird of a year as you could always say. 2020 was not exactly the greatest of a year. 2021 was just as weird. Well, if you can remember back this year, I would say some things around here have changed, right? We sold the wide body in April. I was in and out of Porsche 944s within 10 months, and I flipped those after buying one at Copart. We finished up the storage building. After selling all of that, getting rid of that out, well, I went and bought a Corvette. So, hey, this is what we're going to do in 2022. Now, since the Corvette's right behind me, we'll just talk about it real quick. So you've seen this month that I have done a lot of fluid maintenance. The Corvette didn't need a lot. Really, it was about $59,000, and after I took it on the Limitless Road Rally, I kicked it up almost into the $61,000 range. That was the about right around when all of the fluids in the Corvette needed to be changed. So we did the differential, we did the transmission, we did the brake fluid. The engine oil is not ready to be changed. It was changed prior to me buying it, so it only has about 1,000 miles on it, and I've just been cycling it this winter. That'll be next year. But that leaves me with a couple other things. We've done the headlight bulbs, which I've already shown you here on the channel. I'm going to take all the interior and put in some sound deadener, which is on order. Should be here maybe in the next couple of days. And then I'm going to do the transmission tunnel. There's an actual kit from DEI or Design Engineering that goes in there to reflect a lot of heat out, because these cars in the summer can definitely get hot. Now beyond that, I don't have a lot more to do. There's a couple things. I want to build a cover for the amp. I want to do some trunk panels in there to kind of make it a false floor. And then I was trying to decide if I wanted to rewrap this fender. Remember when I did this with the Hexus body fence, it only came to about right here. You can kind of see it in this film. This is very glossy. This is kind of not. And I'm trying to decide if I want to finish that all the way out on the fender and just make it consistent. But otherwise, the Corvette is not going to be done a lot with. That's not my plan for 2022, other than driving it a lot. Now switching over to the 86 Foxbody I call the Gray Lady. We need to finish this thing. And again, for the third year in a row, I'm going to put the deadline out there as April 1st. I probably won't make it again, but I'm going to keep ticking away at it. You've already seen that we've done, so resealed the engine, gone through and cleaned everything out, get all the gunky crud out of the engine bay underneath the car. I've got the bodywork completed where it's pretty good, not great, and we've started the wrap. So obviously the fenders, doors, hatch, rear quarters, and I've started working on the paint. So if I swing back here just a little bit, you can see around the windows is already painted. The sill panels is in right there, and then I need to finish up the windows, the trim on those. So that is sanded, half of it's sanded. I just need to paint it, but my garage has been about 45 degrees, and it's not exactly great right now to actually have some paint and actually have it adhere well. So that's going to be something I need to do, is finish up the painting. All the suspension, wheels and tires, everything else is done. Brake fluid's done. And then really, I just need to put it back together. I brought in all the interior, and it's kind of hard to see in there, but I brought in all the interior pieces. So they're in here. I just need to go through and really get a bucket of hot soapy water and wipe down all the dirt out of it, so I feel good about putting the panels back in. And then I pretty much have all the parts. I think I only have a couple more things to buy to finish up this car. And again, we'll see if April comes around, but this will be finished this year. I have no doubt of that. And then hopefully I'll put it up for sale, and we'll see what we do next. Outside of the cars, the garage itself is a complete disaster for stuff. I've done pretty well at getting rid of things. Like I sold the the Maximum Motorsports roll bar. Been trying to sell parts. Heck, I've just been trying to get stuff out of this garage into the storage shed, just to give me the floor space back. So once the Gray Lady's done, a lot of the parts will obviously disappear and go back on that car. Once the Corvette's put back together, the wheels and tires will be there. Everything will be in pretty good shape. And then I really just want to clean up this garage. What I found over the last 3 or 4 years that I've been building in here and working on stuff is anything prior to the doors, about the front of the cars and back to these garage doors on either side, is just a flat limitation. if I have anything else in there, in that space, it's just either dinging my door every time I open a door, or I can't get into the car. So my goal is to put everything kind of forward of the car, all the tools, the shelving, everything else goes up in there. If it needs to be in here, it has to fit in that space. If not, it's going out to the storage shed, because I have an extra bay out there, and I'm going to put in some more shelving out there and do a lot more just storage. Like if I don't need it, put it out there. Leave it out in storage out there and not in here. Now I mentioned driving, so of course we are going to do a lot more events that I can get to. The Corvette is kind of my grand tour. That's what my plan was it for, is to make it so it is drivable anywhere. Anywhere I can go that's not off-road. How about that? So the goal is to get this thing out, and maybe the Foxbody, who knows. The Foxbody will probably be more of a trailered event unless it's local and I can drive it there. The Corvette will be my long distance tour. Don't know where I'm going to go yet, but I'm going to try to get a couple more rallies in. There's one talking about going from Oregon over to Idaho, hanging out for a weekend and then driving back, so I may do that. There's always good guys down in Northern California, and then who knows, maybe I'll go to LS Fest down in Vegas this year. LS Fest West, I guess, down in Vegas, now that I have a Chevy to take down there. And probably the last thing I'll mention is that my .com that I put up this year to be able to write blogs and sell AMSOIL, well, that is all going away. My AMSOIL dealership was only a one-year deal, and I didn't pay for it, and I'm not going to pay for it again. It wasn't a good fit for me. It just really wasn't. So this banner is going to come down. I will not have any sponsors going into 2022. I decided to go away with that. I was working on one for the Corvette, and I just decided, you know what? I'll just bargain shop the parts I wanted because it wasn't a lot. Did that anyway, and now I don't have any sponsorship restrictions. So you'll see me show up on a few more channels. I'm building content for, let's see, Way.com or the Way YouTube channel. I just started with some Dirt Legal, so if you followed me on Facebook or Instagram, you know that I mentioned them. I have contracts with them, so build some more, basically just some extra income coming in, and I enjoy doing it anyway. So you might see me show up on a couple of channels, you never know, but I don't have a big plan of doing any .com business or being a regular business trying to sell products. Now don't forget, I do have a 3D printer, so heck, you never know what I'm going to get into with that thing. Still in the box, so I'll have some content coming out this year of me putting it together, failing, trying to build some parts, and then we'll see what I can get into with that. So there you go. 2021 was kind of meh, 2020 was meh, 2022 probably going to be me, but we'll get into that. But you made it. Happy New Year going into 2022. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.